Now, for the latest update on the mudslide that swept through the mining town of Jagersfontein in the Free State, we're joined by Free State Emergency Services Sipho. Towa. Very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time. Of course, this is a story that is moving, and the clarity on numbers in terms of how you're managing the situation, perhaps give us an overview of what you're facing.
Thank you very much, Sipho. Yes, we were activated as early as 6 this morning, and it came to as a water pipe burst. And I'm going to find out it was actually a burst from the trailing dam wall from the mine. And up to now, we have transported the 42 patients to the hospital in Jagersfontein, Diamant, and others were taken to the hospital in Tromsbeek, Albert and Zula. And there were 3 bodies that were recovered. Unfortunately, one of the bodies was declared dead, and then the 2 were taken to the hospital. So at present, the team of search and rescue, they are still on site. They are continuing the search and rescue. So there's about plus or minus 40 households that have been affected in the area. So the team are there, that's in conjunction with SAPS and our EMS guys and other departments as well.
In terms of the scale of your work, what are the major challenges that you're facing?
The first one was communication, because we couldn't communicate with the resources in time, because the electricity has been affected by this disaster, and there was issue of also accessing electricity as well. So those there were actually challenges where we couldn't get enough feedback in terms of which other resources to deploy and which other resources were sufficient. But we ended up establishing a temporary booster for the communication. So we are able to communicate with the guys now, and we've also deployed additional lightning as now we're facing the evening. So the ones need the lightning can continue with their responsibilities of search and rescue.
I'd imagine your teams are working around the clock. How are you coordinating yourself and, in terms of logistics and the teams and the priorities?
It's a joint operation that we have there together with both public and private sector. And they have divided themselves into teams. So as teams rotate working with them, they then continue the search. So we also have nearby towns that they've been put in, and we have also received calls from other provinces where they've indicated that they are ready to then deploy if we need additional resources.
The affected community members, how are they responding to this? I'd imagine it's quite a frightening situation to be involved in.
It is. Luckily, social development, they are also on site. They are providing with psychosocial support to the community, and they are also starting to place them at temporary shelter as well. So because of the additional efforts from all the other departments that are taking care of this disaster, we are able to deal with them. I would also quote the elderly woman that went missing earlier. There were 2 other women that tried to actually save her. They tried to hold on to her, but because of the current of the water, the stream was quite too heavy, and they couldn't hold on longer to her. So they have been very devastated, but then they managed to arrange for them psychosocial support as well.
And if you had to perhaps send out a word of caution to community members and residents who may still be trapped in some form or the other, how much access can one use to get hold of you, or perhaps some advice on what to do should you find yourself in a situation that is really life-threatening?
What we have done, we have established a joint operations center just nearby the town of Jagersfontein, and we also have our emergency number, 112, that is available, so they can contact us, and then we'll then immediately dispatch the nearest team to them. However, there's patrols that are ongoing between SAPS and the emergency services in town, so they can just look for any of the teams that are moving around there, because they are moving around to try and find if there's information that will lead to them recovering more people there.
We've just had a conversation with Eskom in the Free State, speaking to some challenges around accessing substations, saying that there's fallen poles and a lot of mud. Which are some of the areas of concern that you are eyeing, or perhaps some hotspots?
It's more of that, and we would also urge that community shouldn't think of any wires that are lying around that they are not live. They should treat them as live, because we don't know which ones are still active and which ones are no longer alive. And furthermore, we also would say we're quite lucky because the water started going down. But the other areas of concern would then be the nearby rivers, because we're still not sure as to what is contained in the water. So the Department of Environmental Affairs have already deployed. They are looking at issues of where the mudslide is actually flowing to, so that there can be prevention in terms of contaminating clean water in the area.
Very well. Thank you so much for that update. Sipho Towa, Free State Emergency Services, giving us the latest on the ground.